Danny here again with another update on the PS1 Classic Mini Hack. Development on BleemSync has been steadily moving forward the last couple of days with 2 major updates and several minor ones. With 0.4.1 being out right now, many of the questions your request you asked in the comments are now answered. The big functional gains are built-in second controller support finally, with the help of a powered USB hub, and it's bootable now. That means that it boots straight from the USB stick, but the exact functional advantage of that is not really clear to me. I hate the word, but some additional quality of life additions are added to BleemSync as well. It scrapes the metadata from the internet now, so you don't have to enter names and years and number of players. It actually scrapes thumbnails as well for you, and it creates the game.ini file. So that saves a lot of hassle. If you've seen the last video I did about version 0.2.0, I think, it took a lot of time to actually change all the file names and make it functional for the system to understand which game it is. So that means you only have to drop the bin and queue files in the numbered folders with the respective game data folder in it, and you're good to go. You run BleemSync.exe and it creates the metadata for you. So that's a lot of time saving there. 0.3.2 already provided access to the emulator settings by pressing select and triangle, so those functionalities were already entered in the previous version, which I didn't do a video about. I'm skipping 2 versions and combining the new functionality. So you can see that all the basic functionality is in the package right now. The big thing still missing is compatibility with more image formats than just bin and queue files like IMG or ISO or ECM files. We are not going to download the files from the homepage, but we're going to use the release tab, because the release tab actually has the executable files for Windows and Mac. If you download via the download button, then you will download the source files and you don't have any use with them, except if you know how to compile source files. So go to the release tab, click on the latest version and choose the version you need and download it. So the basic instruction is pretty simple. First you have to download the compiled version of either Windows or Mac or Linux, what you're using, and then extract it to your computer. And then we have to add the ROMs to the game folders that are numbered and sequentially numbered, because it will still break if you don't make a sequence out of it. And now you only have to drop the bin and queue files to the created directories. And when you run the script, it will generate all the needed content there. Just to show you, I'm creating the folders right here, game data folders. And I'm gonna copy my games. As you see here, I have a multi-track game, which is Dino Crisis 2. Now that we have created game folders, we can actually run the BleemSync script. So we go to the BleemSync folder and run the exe file. It will execute a script which will scrape the images and game data for you and creates the needed files. Take a little bit of time, and it will eventually show you which games are added to the system and which were already there in the database. So let's see what's in the folder right now. You can see there's an ini file here. There are config files, and when we look into the folder, we see that it creates the correct game data, and we look at the thumbnail, it got correct thumbnail as well. And if we look at the queue file, It shows two tracks, so that should be fine, but I'm a little bit curious if it will work. Metaslug seems alright as well. There's also a game ini file with the correct game name. And the Q file seems right as well. So now what we have to do is copy the complete set of contents of the download, including the games, to the USB drive. And we did that, and now we're gonna hook the USB drive to the system. This is my USB stick. Let's do this with one hand because I'm using a phone, of course, to film. Yeah, well, there you go. Okay, it's powering because there's the orange light, which means that the system is powered on. And let's start it. Because it's now booting from the drive straight away, it takes a long while to load. So normally this would be in a matter of seconds you would get this So the new games are added. Looks pretty good. But if I press the X button, it won't boot. Dino Crisis won't boot. Dino Crisis was the multi-track game. So that's giving problems. Let's see what Metal Slug X does. Well, that seems to boot. It boots the BIOS. And there you have it. Metal Slug is running. And it gives us an opportunity to check how these 2D games run on the emulation.
Mission 1, start! Thank you!
That seems pretty smooth, and as far as I can see there's no controller lag or significant controller lag. People complain about controller lag quite a lot when it comes to emulation in general. I don't have a lot of problems with it. I don't know what it is. Maybe I learned to play with controller lag because I used a lot of upscalers which did have controller lag. And I could actually play games with it.
Thank you! Okay! Thank you!
Anyway, so that's Metal Slug X. I have added now completely 16 games, I think. These are some Japanese games that had some trouble booting before. And you see I have 4 games on here. Xanax X Xanac, for instance, which doesn't boot. I thought it was a problem with Japanese import games on it, or Japanese NTSC games. But I think I misconfigured the ini files, so maybe I just delete them and let the system figure it out. Because when I go to the when I go to the menu, the emulation menu, you can load the image again and then it will work. But as you can see, it shows the Gaia seed ROM, so I probably misconfigured that a little bit. I have to go back, but if I just load the Gaia seed file through the menu, then it will work, as you can see here. Let's take a look a little bit of footage of that game. It's a pretty cool game, so recommend it for you if you like shoot 'em ups. The previous versions had a bit of trouble with 2-player support, but it seems with this version that's supposed to be fixed. And what you have to do is you have to use a USB hub that has power of its own, so it isn't powered by the console. The console doesn't output enough power to power the USB hub. So put the USB stick in port 1 just to be sure, and add the controller in a different port, and let's see if it works. Well, skip forward and let's pick up a 2-player fighting game. I have Bloody Roar 2 and I have Marvel vs. Capcom. Let's try Marvel vs. Capcom. I've showed Bloody Roar 2 before in the previous video.
Capcom presents Marvel vs. Capcom. Let's go crazy!
So first mode is selectable, so that means in a Capcom game that it detects a 2-player option with the second controller. And yeah, we can select a player with the second controller. I have to manage 2 controllers at the same time, so I have so much options. Model select and turbo select and this is such a fun game to play. I actually like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 more, of course, but yeah, it's probably one of my favorite fighting games ever. Well, seems to work pretty good. No apparent control lag here as well, so even running a controller through a USB hub is still functioning pretty good. Using Wolverine with the second controller, so it looks like this update finally gives us a sort of definite version of the system that we wanted with all the functionality that we needed. And yeah, it's still, yeah, you have a lot of cables with a USB hub and stuff like that, but it is functional, so that's the most important thing for now. So that's it. That's probably my last PlayStation Mini video, but if there anything good comes out that is a definite improvement over this way of doing it, then I'll come back to you with another video. But for now, we're gonna return to the normally scheduled programming with gameplay videos and flea market hunting. So if you're interested in that, stick around. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you soon. Bye bye.